Cryptocurrency influencer Bitcoin Rodney just pled guilty to his federal fraud case. Let's go.
This is Pocket Watching with JT.
Hey, Pocket Watchers, I am certified financial planner Jason Thornton, and this is the Fraud Fumble. This is where I react to the financial failures of your favorite celebrities and influencers so you can get the financial lesson without going through the trouble. Let's go, Pocket Watching. On this episode, I will be reacting to the federal fraud case of the cryptocurrency influencer Bitcoin Rodney. Now, before I dig into the numbers, let's try to give this man his flowers. Bitcoin Rodney, real name Rodney Burton, is a 56-year-old man who built a massive online brand based on promoting cryptocurrency. Now, he also has a rags to riches story that he's not afraid to tell people. Now, he is a man that was arrested and convicted of a conspiracy to distribute cocaine. Yes, he served 60 months in federal prison for pushing cocaine. But when he got out of prison, he turned his back on pushing drugs and decided to start pushing crypto. And for his rewards, he became a multimillionaire. But the man is not happy with just being a multimillionaire himself invested in crypto. No. See, he wants you to become a multimillionaire too. And he's going to show you how to do it by investing in cryptocurrency. Now, personally, story seems a little odd to me, but apparently there's many people who believed in that rags to riches story, so much so that he was even able to pop up on the popular urban podcast. Number one, we see him on The Breakfast Club with Charlamagne the God, Angela Yee, and I'm sure DJ Envy was there somewhere. Now, once again, The Breakfast Club is a platform where many grifters find themselves on. But not just there. He also found himself on $1 million worth of game. Seems like everything is going Bitcoin Rodney's way. Look at the celebrities he's able to rub elbows with. We got DJ Khaled right here. There's so many here. But number one, we've got Jamie Foxx. We've got Floyd Mayweather, all there with Bitcoin Rodney. 50 cents. Somehow, some way, Bitcoin Rodney was able to rub elbows with 50 cents. And Nick Cannon. This man has totally changed his life. Went from pushing cocaine to pushing crypto, and now he is living the ultra luxury lifestyle. And now he just wants to show you how you can do it too. But the question we have to ask ourselves is, how does he end up here? How does he end up on Pocket Watching with JT if everything is going so well with Rodney? Rodney is another example of Black excellence, investing in crypto and showing others how they could too. Well, according to the federal government, Rodney wasn't just investing in crypto. According to the federal government, Rodney was also dealing with a little bit of wire fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, money laundering, and operating an unlicensed money transmitting business. Okay, let's dig a little deeper into this. According to the paperwork here, the first indictment was on February the 7th, 2024. Okay, we've got the United States District Court for the District of Maryland. We've got Rodney, and apparently the federal government claims that there was a global scheme. The government alleges that HyperFund was a massive global Ponzi scheme and pyramid scheme, put those two together, a Ponzi scheme and pyramid scheme that defrauded victims worldwide out of, get this, $1.89 billion. Let me say that again with a B, not million, with a B. $1.89 billion. Now, that was HyperFund, the whole company. But for Bitcoin Rodney, his personal cut, they say that bank records show that Bitcoin Rodney's personally processed and received about, 600 payments, okay, in total. But his bank account, 562 payments that total $7,851,711. The government also says that, hold on, there were a few transactions that were missing. It totaled about 600 payments or more, and they think he really got $9 million from victims. Okay, so we got to ask the question, what was HyperFund? What was it? Well, HyperFund, it launched in June of 2020, and it basically promoted itself as the world's most sustainable passive reward program. I'm a little confused because I am a financial advisor. I've been doing this for well over a decade, for years here, and I'm not exactly sure what a passive rewards program is. Maybe I'm silly. Maybe I'm unaware. But what is a passive rewards program? Now, promoters claim that by buying memberships into this program, you can earn 0.5 to 1% daily returns. So 0.5% to 1% every day is what you would get back when you invest or buy this membership. Now, real quick, for the kids keeping score at home, this is what we refer to as a red flag. Okay. Now, people who are not in the financial industry, maybe 1% a day seems a little small to you. And you think, oh, what's a big deal? They're just saying that you can get 1% a day. Let me explain how crazy that is. See, in the regular investing world, if you were to get between 10 to 12% return for the whole year, you're doing good. Okay, you're doing good. All right, let's say 15% for the year, you're doing really good. 20%, amazing. 1% a day is impossible. Okay, 1% a day is mathematically impossible of a return to get. So this is a red flag. Now, the way that they were able to get this done, see, payouts were made in their own special cryptocurrency. I believe it was referred to as hyper units, right? You would have to buy these hyper units with real cash, though. That's the problem, right? You would buy these hyper units with your real cash or some other form of cryptocurrency that you bought with real cash. But the truth is that their hyper units were basically worthless. Okay. So where was the money coming from? I believe this is where the money was coming from. According to the federal government, they had a pyramid referral engine, multi-level marketing. So basically what would happen is the whole platform was structured around a multi-level marketing pyramid scheme. Members would aggressively recruit their friends, family, and social media followers. Now, the promoters would get high dollar victims into the network, and those promoters would get paid ridiculous commissions, even earning little nicknames like a VIP or a community star when they brought in their whole downlines. Here's the problem, though, with these cuts, these commissions. When they brought in the victims, the money wasn't coming from any type of legitimate business. The money was coming from the victim's money anyway. There was no revenue generating component to this entire scheme. It's just money transfer. Let me show you here. There was no real revenue because there was no real business, and the cryptocurrency that they were making you buy was functionally worthless. Now, what was the claim though? The claim was that HyperFund was able to pay out these rewards because they had this amazing network of crypto mining that was just bringing in so much money. The problem with that is when the federal government actually investigated, the Internal Revenue Service Criminal Investigation Unit audited the platform, and they discovered there was no such mining facilities that existed. No mining going on, just money being transferred from victims up the pyramid. That's all that was going on. Money flowing up. Okay. Now, in this picture here, you can see Bitcoin Rodney with one of the co-founders of the company, an Australian man named Sam Lee. All right. Now, let's go over the timeline of Bitcoin Rodney and the federal government. All right. So, according to the federal government, once again, the company launched this HyperFund launched around June of 2020. Between March and April of 2021, Bitcoin Rodney decides, hey, the people that he's going to recruit into this scheme, they're going to transfer money directly to his bank account. Follow me here. So remember, you have to buy their special little cryptocurrency. And there's different little hoops you got to jump through and all this. So Bitcoin Rodney is going to make it easy for you. Instead of you having to go on these exchanges that are going to ask you all these questions, they may even ask you to upload your ID and all this. No. You ain't got to worry about all that. Just send the money to Bitcoin Rodney. Send it to Bitcoin Rodney. Bitcoin Rodney will then invest your money into Hyperlink, HyperFund, whatever it's called, and everything will be great. Another issue here is very soon after, in June of 2021, apparently the bank is getting a little wise to what's going on here. So Bitcoin Rodney then tells the investors, listen, when you send me money, you can't make it seem like it's some sort of investment. See, there's an issue with the bank. I want you to make sure in the memo, just say that this is for consulting or training. Once again, over here at Pocket Watching with JT, we refer to this as a red flag. When you are transmitting money to a investor, you're transmitting money to someone and it is supposed to be an investment, and they tell you to call it something else, that should be a big enough red flag for you to decide, I'm going to keep my money. But for, over 600 people, wasn't that big of a deal. They kept giving this man more money, more money, more money. Now, here's where everything fell apart. In July of 2021, the platform basically shut down. It locked down. People were unable to withdraw their money. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Says that, even though the company was locked down, people could not pull their money out anymore. Bitcoin Rodney kept collecting victims' money. I'm guessing he was just reassuring people, don't worry about it, we're going to get this fixed. But in the meantime, keep giving me money and I'm going to make you a millionaire. Now, on top of the kickback that Bitcoin Rodney was getting from the scheme, when you brought someone in, remember this multi-level marketing pyramid scheme BS, when you bring somebody in, you're going to get a kickback. But on top of that kickback, Bitcoin Rodney was taking a 3% fee on top of the kickback. So Bitcoin Rodney's getting paid. Bitcoin Rodney's getting paid. Now, Remember, according to the federal government, based on his bank records, Bitcoin Rodney, between June of 2020 and January of 2022, this man collected $7.8 million. What did he use that money on? According to the federal government, he used $1.4 million to buy himself a yacht. Yeah, big boat. Bought himself a yacht. Also bought himself a luxury condo, a waterfront penthouse, and a high-end Porsche. Bitcoin was spending that bread. Now, let's take a look at this timeline. December the 22nd, 2023, the feds had Bitcoin Rodney wiretapped. So they're listening in on Bitcoin Rodney and I guess his phone calls. And they hear him talking about how he was going to flee to Dubai. I believe the quote is, the feds are investigating. So he's going to flee to Dubai. So on January the 3rd, 2024, Bitcoin Rodney is arrested at the Miami airport, boarding a flight to Dubai with a one-way ticket. Of course you're being wiretapped. What are you thinking, Rodney? What are you thinking? Now, on May 9th, 2024, the feds were able to seize his $300,000 Rolls Royce because he was sending it to Dubai. Remember, Rodney thinks he'll be in Dubai. So he's shipping his Rolls Royce to be with them in Dubai. So the feds were able to seize the Rolls Royce because it was in Georgia on a cargo ship to go to Dubai. But Rodney doesn't need it in Dubai. Remember, Rodney is now locked up. So what was Rodney's defense? Got to be some reasonable explanation about what was going on. Well, on one point, Rodney was talking about how he was a victim. He wasn't the mastermind of what was going on. He was a victim like everyone else. But I'm more interested in this other defense that he put up. He came up with the sovereign citizen defense. Oh, yes, this is always one of the more entertaining ways to try to get out of dealing with responsibilities. Now, some of you may not be aware of what a sovereign citizen defense is, so let me give you a very short explanation. There are people within the United States and outside of the United States who believe that they are not subject to the rules and the authority of the federal government, that there are certain ways, things that you can do, paperwork that you can file to opt out of dealing with the authority of the federal government, but at the same time, you're able to enjoy all of the privileges of being a U.S. citizen. So on November the 29th, 2023, Bitcoin Rodney filed his sovereign citizen paperwork with the federal court. He was renouncing all political ties to the United States of America, the corporate government. Now, he claimed that he was declaring his political status, that he is an American state national, not a United States citizen. All right. He also wanted to make sure that he trademarked his name, filing a certificate of assumed name. Rodney claimed that his legal identity is Rodney Burton and was a separate trust, and he was the sole holder of the trust. So Rodney Burton in all capital letters is a trust. It's not the flesh and blood man. That's a different thing. See, the federal government is trying to put charges on a trust that Rodney simply has control over. Okay, let's take a look at this. He also claimed and filed paperwork stating that the federal government has to pay his fee if they want him to show up in court. If he has to be in court, the federal government has to pay this man $75,000 an hour. $75,000 an hour to be and appear in court. All right. Now, here's some of the paperwork just to make sure you guys know that I am not, playing with you. This is the paperwork that he filed. This is the Declaration of Naturalization Act of July 1776. There's his signature. And I want you to notice right by his signature, he has a little copyright sign right there. Right. Remember, his name is copyrighted. So he's got a little copyright sign right there by his name. Here's some more paperwork that he filed showing that, I guess, witness testimony affirming American state political status and identity. All right. So what do you think the federal government's response to Bitcoin Rodney's sovereign citizen defense? Do you think it was convincing enough to get them to drop the charges? Well, apparently it wasn't, because just yesterday, all right, for the recording of this video, we're talking about June 15th, 2026, Bitcoin Rodney and his attorney officially changed his plea. He's no longer claiming to be not guilty. He is putting in an official plea of guilty. Now, one thing I do want you to notice is that his attorney is a public defender, which is another type of a red flag. Because see, whenever you have a case and you're going up against the federal government on fraud charges, and you have as your attorney a public defender, there's a good chance you're either going to be found guilty or you are going to plead guilty, right? One and two. You're either going to cop a plea or you're going to be found guilty by the end of the trial. All right. Here you have it right here. It says defendant agrees to plead guilty to one count of the indictment, charging the defendant with conspiracy to operate an unlicensed money transmitting business. Now, they also have in here that Bitcoin Rodney is agreeing to pay back the federal government. Yes, it says the defendant agrees to a money judgment in the amount of at least $7,851,711 in U.S. currency to the United States. All right, right here you can see that the assistant United States attorney signed the plea agreement. We also have Bitcoin Rodney and his public defender attorney. They all signed the agreement. And in about a month, we are going to see if the judge agrees to this plea agreement. Now, we've got to go over what is our lesson for today, because we have to learn from this situation. The number one thing that we need to focus on is if it sounds too good to be true, it's probably not true. Okay. 1% a day investment returns do not exist. Okay. They don't. And the second you start to believe in something like that, you have already fell into the trap and you're going to become a victim. All right. So lesson number one is there are no get rich quick schemes. Okay. You are most likely going to be a victim. But lesson number two is you have to stop seeking financial advice from online gurus and celebrities. Take a look at this picture. We have Bitcoin Rodney in the studio with The Breakfast Club, right? The hottest and biggest urban radio show / podcast that exists, especially during that time. Okay. You have Charlemagne the God and Angela Yee, and of course, DJ Envy is probably somewhere off camera. You have to ask yourself the question, how does a man like Bitcoin Rodney end up on this podcast? I have a conspiracy theory that I believe that he bought his way onto the podcast. I believe he paid some money and found his way to get interviewed. Okay. It's a thing called podcast payola that happens all the time. Now, I'm sure Charlamagne the God will say that JT's crazy. No one can pay their way to end up on the Breakfast Club. Like I said, it's a conspiracy theory. I just think that it's true. Okay. Celebrities can be bought. Most of the celebrities that you saw him rubbing elbows with were people that he paid to come to a party. He paid to come to some sort of cryptocurrency seminar to either perform or give a speech. Celebrities can be paid. So if you think that an investment is good to go because one of your favorite rappers or one of your favorite reality TV stars are on the stage with the guy, once again, probably a red flag. All right. Now, what I want you guys to do, though, if you are looking for a way to improve your financial life, don't join some sort of multi-level marketing crypto scam. What you need to do is follow the Pocket Watcher 7 money rules. What am I talking about here? I'm talking about number one, got to learn how to budget. Number two, you got to have an emergency savings fund. Number three, you have to have a debt plan, a plan to get out of and stay out of debt. Number four, insurance planning, right? Number five, tax planning. Number six, wealth planning. And number seven, estate planning. These 7 rules will not make you a multi-billionaire, but these 7 rules will keep you from living paycheck to paycheck. If you need help on how to follow those rules, listen, I have a financial planning app for you. It is 100% free. Just go to the website, www.pocketwatcher.net. Sign up for the free financial planning app. Inside of the app, you can set up your budget. You can set up your debt payoff plan. And there's also a step-by-step course on how to follow the 7 Pocket Watcher money rules. And if there is a celebrity or influencer who is either being charged with committing fraud, or there's a lawsuit where they filed because they claim to be a victim of fraud, or if your favorite celebrity or influencer has filed for bankruptcy, put their name down in the comment of this video, and I'll do the best I can to get you some content. And of course, if you have a question for the Pocket Watcher, if there's some financial question, some tax question, you're having some issues, you can sign up for a free phone consultation with me. Just go to the website, click the free consultation button, sign up, and I do the best I can to get you a good recommendation so that you can set yourself up in a better financial position. Thanks for watching.
Are you looking for real financial advice? Thornton Financial is here to help. Certified financial planner Jason Thornton specializes in tax and wealth planning. Are you living paycheck to paycheck with no retirement plan? Do you need help with the IRS? Book your free consultation with Thornton Financial today. Budgeting, savings, debt management, and retirement. Even tax debt settlements. Get the advice you need to live your best life. Book your free consultation appointment today. Go to www.thornton-financial.com.